Your dismissive avoidant ex never loved you. That's not something you want to hear. And it's not something a lot of people are going to like me saying. But the truth needs to be said. They didn't love you. At least not in the real, true, deep way. It's not that they didn't care about you at all, but they didn't love you. Not true love. And let me explain why. Okay, then let's break down what defines true love. The first core component of true love is intimacy and connection, meaning not just surface level, not just banter, not just validation. It means bonding to a person at a deep, profound emotional level, nurturing that bond, being vulnerable with the other person, opening up your heart to them, receiving their love, and giving your love unconditionally in return. The second core component, commitment and care, meaning putting the daily effort, making that conscious choice to be committed to that person and nurture and foster the relationship, not just when it's easy, but when it's also hard, even when it involves certain self-sacrifices, watering the relationship so it grows and blossoms each and every day. Selflessness and support, giving of yourself to the other person while expecting nothing in return. Offering your support to this person, sometimes even when it involves self-sacrifice. True love involves that giving because you want to give, because you genuinely empathize and care about the other person's well-being, celebrating their successes, even when there's nothing in it for you. Acceptance and respect, loving and choosing this person as they are, their positive attributes as well as their flaws, and not nitpicking them and making excuses as to why this person isn't good enough, accepting them for the person that they are and admiring them for who they are. Growth and evolution. True love is not static. It's a dynamic force that grows and evolves as the relationship strengthens and deepens and evolves over time. The ability and the willingness to learn from one's mistakes, grow as an individual, and grow together as a couple, as a partnership, to strengthen that bond and really become the best version of yourself for yourself as well as your partner. True love is not just a feeling. It is also a choice, the daily choice of choosing the other person, choosing to love the other person, choose to prioritize the person, choosing to empathize with them, choosing to care for them, not just when it's easy, but when it's also hard. It is not just a fleeting, temporary feeling. True love isn't always easy. There are challenges in life. There are roadblocks and obstacles, and there will be conflicts. But that means choosing the other person, not just when it's easy, but also when it's hard, and being willing to put in the work and the effort to overcome those obstacles because you choose that person and prioritize them. Okay, so those are the core components of true love. Dismissive avoidance, on the other hand, well, it's not that they don't care for anybody else. It's not that they necessarily held you in a low regard. They may have thought highly of you, but they can still lack all those core components that really form true love. Dismissive avoidants are people that have profound wounds, attachment wounds around intimacy, vulnerability. They're people that fear conflict. They don't communicate because of that fear of conflict. They get triggered by expectations. They are emotionally unavailable. The two core components of emotional availability: one, the ability and the willingness to form a deep bond, a deep love, deep connection. And two, the ability and the willingness to empathize with your partner, to share their emotions, to care about their feelings, the whole thought process of how do my actions impact my partner? How do I show up for them? Without that deep bond, without that empathy, how can you really have all of those core components of true love? When you're not empathizing with your partner, You inherently are approaching a relationship with a what's in it for me attitude. How does this person make me feel? What do I get out of it? Me, me, me. When you're triggered and you're willing to cut and run just because things aren't easy, how can you label that true love? When you're not willing to show up and put in the work because it's too hard, how is that really true love? When you're not willing to resolve conflicts, when you're not willing to communicate, when you're not willing to open up and be vulnerable with your partner, how can that be considered true love? When you are unwilling to self-reflect or take accountability and grow and learn as a person because of that core wound of shame, but you're not growing, you're not evolving, you're not growing with them, you're not overcoming obstacles, how is that true love? When you are not prioritizing your partner, when you're not prioritizing them when they are in need of you the most, when you're backing away and running from that, how is that true love? It is not. It is not true love. So if they cut and ran and discarded you, showed you no empathy, no, they didn't love you, not in the true sense. Now, it's not because that you weren't good enough. It's not because that you weren't worth loving. It's not that they despised you or didn't think highly of you. They probably thought they loved you to their capacity. But the thing is that dismissive avoidance, due to that emotional neglect and never really receiving love throughout their lives, especially in childhood, they don't know the difference between love and infatuation. That dopamine euphoria that comes in early dating from infatuation, that reward hormone dopamine, that they confuse for love. They think that's what love is, but that is just infatuation. Love is also that choice that we completely broke down. There are so many core components to actual love. What they thought was love was infatuation. But again, it has nothing to do with you because this is a person that was on the receiving end of profound childhood emotional neglect. Love was not safe for them. It was never given to them as a child. They never received it. They don't have the ability to receive it because for them, it activates their nervous system with anxiety. It feels so unsafe. These are deeply seated core wounds. That love gives them enormous anxiety, and every fiber in their nervous system is screaming at them to run. And loving them harder won't undo that. The only way that they can heal that and learn to grow the capacity to truly love and bond is to do the inner work, self-reflect, go to therapy, make a consistent change in behavior that expands their capacity over the course of time. But if they're not working on themselves, then no, they're not capable of really loving you, not in a deep, true way. Healthy relationship behaviors trigger them. It was never safe for them to receive love as a child. Their emotions were dismissed. They personalized that lack of love and nurturing, and they developed a wound of shame. I must be defective. I must be unlovable. And it created all these defense mechanisms. And they learned to solely focus on themselves because they learned that they were the only person that would meet their needs. The only person they could rely on was themselves. So they essentially grew up with these blinders on, only able to concentrate on their feelings and their needs. Because of this, they really don't have the capacity to love you in a true way as a partner. So it's not something that you want to hear. It's not fun to hear, but no, they didn't love you, not in the healthy way, not in the true deep way. They had surface level feelings for you. And when those feelings started to evolve deeper, their walls and defense mechanisms protected them by preventing them from letting that love grow any deeper to a true level. So when it got too real, when it got too serious, when it got too vulnerable, it got too close, they blocked that. They cut and ran and distanced themselves, showed you no empathy because again, you can't really have love without empathy. And they put up those walls to prevent that love from getting to a deep place that feels extremely unsafe to them. It's not that they're a bad person. They can be a bad person, but not all dismissive avoidance are bad people. But they are people that are incapable of genuinely giving and receiving true love.